Yes, and on to Natalie Martiniello. If she can unmute herself and tell us a bit about BLC, because Braille is important to many of us here.
Hi,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Hello. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Hi, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to be here today. It's nice to hear your voices, Brian and Carrie, who I know you recently, well, not too recently, but a few months ago, you invited Braille Literacy Canada onto your show, and we really enjoyed that opportunity, so thank you. So as mentioned, my name is Natalie Martiniello, and I am the president of Braille Literacy Canada, the Canadian Braille Authority. Outside of BLC, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I work at the University of Montreal, where I focus very heavily on Braille literacy and in particular, the learning and use of Braille in adulthood, which we don't talk about too much. So above all else, like many of you, I am a lifelong Braille reader, and I'm very passionate about Braille because I'm passionate about literacy. Many people ask us within BLC about why Braille matters and why we talk about Braille differently than we talk about other methods to access information. So as many of you know firsthand, it is because Braille really is that vehicle through which literacy can really flourish. So I, like many of you, use multiple methods to read and write, but it really is Braille that truly granted me a sense of literacy. And it was Braille that I really always attached to really those empowering and powerful and really validating memories from my early life. And it's Braille that I really consider to be the reason why I've been able to accomplish the things I have, as many of you I know feel the same way. So I know that I'm preaching to the choir. And the truth is that before Braille, blind people could not really read or write at all. And we relied entirely on others. With the dawn of Braille literacy, blind people were finally educated, and we moved from manual tasks to more academic subjects. And this represented a true turning point in our story as blind people. It elevated us from a state of charity and reliance on others to a life where we could truly strive towards our goals and really have a more meaningful voice in society. So that's why we talk about Braille differently, because Braille brought with it that education, those higher levels of employment, and a dignity that we really didn't have beforehand. And other technologies help to level the playing field, as many of you know, and in fact increase access to Braille, but it really is Braille that opened that door. So despite the fact that we all know these things to be true, I, like many of you, and certainly Braille Literacy Canada, so often are asked whether Braille is still important. We feel that this tells us more about what others think about blindness than what they think about Braille. This question would never be asked of print. And so it speaks to those often unconscious biases and lower expectations that too often are attached to blindness and really disability generally. We understand that in a sighted world, being literate is a prerequisite to true participation and gainful employment. This fact does not change when that mode of literacy shifts from visual to tactile. If we understand that literacy is a right for the sighted, then it is for the blind as well. So you each all know this to be true, of course, but I say this to really give you some insights as to why we are so passionate about what we do within BLC and why it's so important to support our mandate. Through BLC, we provide the Canadian Braille community with an opportunity to come together and to have a united voice. So over the next few minutes, I would like to tell you just a little bit more about BLC, who we are, what we do, and how you can get involved. We are always very empowered about partnership and working with other individuals and organizations who share our mandate to support the use of Braille for anyone who can benefit from it. And we do this through public education and a variety of other initiatives. So first, who are we? Braille Literacy Canada, the Canadian Braille Authority, was established in 1990. So we recently celebrated our 30th anniversary. We are above all else the governing authority for Braille in Canada. So what that means is that BLC as an organization is a member of the International Council on English Braille, or ICEB, which consists of the authorities, the Braille authorities from all English-speaking countries. So as a member of BLC, you have the opportunity to have a voice on the international stage and vote on vital international Braille code issues. For example, it was through BLC that Canada voted in favor to adopt Unified English Braille in 2010. So our members consist of Braille users, of course, at any level, Braille transcribers, parents of blind children, proofreaders, anyone with a passion for literacy through Braille. Membership costs $20 per year and runs along with the calendar year, so begins in January. And you can also, as a corporate organization, become a member of Braille Literacy Canada. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about our member benefits, but more broadly, some of the initiatives that we work on. So we publish a bi-monthly newsletter that consists of Braille-related news, both within Canada and internationally, other important updates on the Braille code, and articles that are just generally of interest to the Braille community. You can contribute articles in English or French, whether you are or are not a member of BLC. And the newsletter is sent by email to all members and is also available in hard copy Braille through a partnership with CELA. Through our Braille Promotions Committee, we run a number of social media campaigns. In fact, for a few years in a row, the word Braille, the hashtag Braille, actually trended on Twitter for World Braille Day in Canada, which is very exciting to those of you who know about social media. We also run bi-monthly workshops on Braille-related themes that are of interest to our different member groups. So whether you're a parent wanting to know more about how to support your child in the area of Braille literacy or a Braille user, we recently held a joint session with both CELA and NELS about funding for library services, which as I'm sure you all know is of primary concern at the moment. And so we're always interested to know about other themes that may be of interest to the Braille community. Our French Braille Committee is also very active, putting together resources on the learning of French Braille in Canada. We also translated the rulebook into French, the Braille Code rulebook. And we're actually in the process of launching a new program which will support or provide financial assistance to purchase French print Braille books for children across Canada. We're very excited about this, so stay tuned to learn more about this, this program. We started this thanks to a lot of generous donors, but also recognizing that there are so few materials in French print Braille as well. The E.D. Moore Scholarship really recognizes and celebrates one of our past members who was heavily involved as a transcriber and member. And through this scholarship program, we support anyone in Canada who wants to become a Braille transcriber or proofreader, or who is pursuing a career in Braille instruction to become a Braille educator, a TVI. We're actually in the process of reviewing the applications for this year, and we'll be announcing the recipients at our AGM in June. This program launches every January, so stay tuned if that's of interest to you. Our Brailler Bounce program was initiated by Myra Rodriguez, who's a longtime member. And through this program, we've repaired Braillers, over 60 Braillers to date, and rehomed them to Braille readers across Canada at no charge to either the donors or the recipients. If you have a Brailler that you're not using, well, first of all, start using it. But if you're really not using it and you'd like to donate it, let us know. Or if you need a Brailler, let us know as well. We're very excited about our Braille Zoomers program. Through this program, we provide peer support to adults and seniors who are learning Braille, who are thinking about learning Braille, or who learned it at some time in adulthood. As many of you know, there is a misconception that older adults are too old to learn Braille. But the truth is that often what prevents people from learning Braille later on in life is a stigma that is attached to Braille as a symbol of blindness and the intimidation of learning something new later on in life. And so we really need to crack through that to show people that Braille is actually an empowering tool that